Welcome back. Well, as we wrap up Africa Month, we turn our focus on aviation. Intra-African air connectivity has remained a challenge for the region, and developing a pan-African network is becoming more imperative by the day in a bid to connect more areas of the continent and to boost trade and economic activity. ASKY was launched with the aim of serving and connecting African countries and Africa to the world with excellent quality service, with a strong focus on intra-African network that fosters regional development, tourism, economic growth. Now, let's discuss this more. We're now joined via Zoom by the Director of Commercial and Ground Operations, ASKY Airlines, Nowel Ngala. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Ngala.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Now, you've been operating for several years now in the continent, and you're now relaunching your Johannesburg routes at a time when the aviation industry is recovering from the pandemic. Tell us how ready you are as an airline for the additional capacity.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. Like you rightly said, Johannesburg, we are relaunching because we stopped operations due to COVID. And during the gap, during COVID period, was a difficult time, not only for the airlines, but for the entire aviation industry, as the industry that was mostly affected. We're happy that following COVID, since the beginning of this year, we have recovered, and I can say we fully recovered. When we look at our numbers, we are seeing some good performance, equally in the 2021 performance. So that is why we are in the process of relaunching our routes and also expanding the network into other markets across West, Central, and Southern Africa. So Johannesburg was relaunched since the 1st of May, and we have 5 entry points into Johannesburg, connecting into our hub based in Lome, Togo, West Africa. So we have direct flights from Johannesburg into Kinshasa, from Johannesburg into Libreville, from Johannesburg into Lagos, from Johannesburg to Brazzaville, and from Johannesburg to Douala. So South Africans, as well as other West and Central Africans, have the possibility to travel on a direct flight with ASKY Airlines into and out of Johannesburg.
Now, we know that you have some form of affiliations to Ethiopian Airlines. We've seen some African airlines come and go in this space, this South African space. How confident are you that you will withstand the test of time?
Well, correct. Like you said, Ethiopian Airlines is a partner of ASKY. It's not only an investor, because ASKY is a 100% private airline, mostly owned by the regional West African banks. But Ethiopian Airlines is also an investor in ASKY. And not only that, Ethiopian Airlines is a strategic partner of ASKY. So currently, we do have a very strong network in Lome, and we have connectivities to directly, for example, to the US. We're starting in collaboration with Ethiopian Airlines flights from Lome directly to Washington, D.C. from the 1st of June. We are also increasing flights to Newark Airport and also to JFK. So South Africans, for example, can travel to Lome, and then from Lome to continue on an Ethiopian Airlines flight to the US into any of these 3 points. It has not been easy, but we have been able to build this network for all these years to be able to provide and serve the African community with the right connectivity and with seamless traveling opportunities.
Now, let's talk about the industry at large. You know, how confident are you in fostering a strong intra-Africa network as an airline, as you say in some of your policies? You know, one of the reasons I'm asking is that one of the things that have recently come out is how very fragmented the industry is from an airline perspective, you know, and that much needed consolidation and collaborations are needed from existing airlines already. You know, so what are your thoughts around collaborations and getting into partnerships with airlines that already exist, so that you make the African airspace a little bit more stronger and also less fragmented?
Yes, exactly, as you rightly put it. Generally, the aviation industry is a very, very fragile industry with very high operating costs. In fact, within this region, within Africa, Africa has the highest operating costs in the airline industry. And it's only through this kind of collaboration that you can be able to minimize cost. Cost is key to the operations. it is a continuous challenge. And in so many other aspects, we continue to fight at all levels, be it in terms of the high cost of operations. We see fuel prices now increasing. Daily countries are increasing fuel prices, going up to $135 per barrel. We see issues of traffic rights that are challenging in the industry, and some countries not willing to open up despite the implementation of the single African air transport market. But it's only when we come and build such synergies like what Ethiopian Airlines and ASKY is doing, which is an example that I want to encourage other partners to emulate. When you build such strong synergies at the level of the commercial basis, at the level of operations, maintenance, and even personnel and human capital, it goes a long way to build solid partnerships that can keep the industry moving on in Africa, particularly based on the challenges that we are facing.
Now, there's a huge conference coming up in Cape Town on the 30th of June. Apparently, you will be presenting the industry there as your position as chairperson of the African Airlines Association. Of course, one of the key issues under, that address would be airline partnerships, as we've just rightfully discussing, but also profitability and sustainability. Talk to us a little bit about the importance around just those two factors.
Thank you very much. Well, yes, I'm actually the chairman of the Aeropolitical Committee of AFRA, the chairman of the Aeropolitical Committee. Yes, effectively, there is a conference coming up end of June in which I'm one of the speakers, basically to see and to encourage collaboration and also to encourage equity and partnership among African carriers. This is the only and key way to move forward in this kind of partnerships and to have such collaborations to grow the industry, the business, as it continues to be a challenge across Africa.
Less about your ASKY, but more about the industry itself, the African industry. Just a little bit, as we wrap up very quickly, how far do you see this industry growing into something bigger, of course, the pandemic notwithstanding?
The African airline industry, when you look at the numbers published, especially by IATA and also some of the airlines and manufacturers operating within the region, is promising. Intra-Africa traffic has grown. Surprisingly, it was not really affected during the COVID. We saw some operations and connectivity when you compare the domestic and regional operations across, when you compare it with intercontinental operations. Intra-Africa traveling picked up faster and quicker than intercontinental operations. So we are on the good footing. We can say we are partially recovered and fully recovered in some of the airlines, but partially recovered as a region after the COVID. And we think that the aviation industry continues to play a very important role, because despite the fact that people could not meet and discuss deals, people could not meet and shake hands, but traveling now has picked up, and we still continue to see the need to function as an airline, to be able to transport these people, to be able to transport their goods and provide the services that are required for them to meet their engagements, be it at political level, government level, corporate, businesses. So it's a promising industry. We encourage the support, particularly from government, to make sure that the industry continues to thrive.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Nowel Ngala from ASKY Airlines there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.